This is one Fresno resident's story worthy of recording and sharing. Magdalena Nagy is now in her 99th year and has been here in the Central Valley for over 6 decades. Her life chapters are interesting to family and friends, but they also provide a story for all of us. This 8th chapter is the story of a new American life in Dallas, Texas, from a new television for watching evening boxing and I Love Lucy to a used Studabaker for local exploration. Marianne starts school and piano lessons, requiring yet one more major purchase, a spinet piano. Eventually, a new Studabaker takes the family to New York and a visit to the Statue of Liberty and to cousins and brother Udon in New Jersey. A year later, the family visits a friend in San Francisco, where the possibility arises of one more move to beautiful Monterey.
Life went on. We got already settled really in, and Louis was throwing the paper, doing this, that. Suddenly Louis came home and he said, "Guess what? We will get a television." And I said, "Television? For what? Do we need that?" I said, "Of course we need that. I like to watch the boxing." And then that was interesting, yeah. That was so new to us. The television was so new to us. Of course, black and white. And later on, I was very happy because that's where I got all acquainted with all those first TV shows. But Louis came home always, and at 5 o'clock, he was just settled into the TV because he loved to watch the boxing. That was his favorite. Even the soup, what I did, he let it cold and said, "Louis, the soup is so nice and hot." "That's all right, that's all right. Let me just finish the football game." And also very interesting, which one was a sad part of things. Once we already get no, because meanwhile Louis got also a car, and he already learned which one he already knew from Munich that he could drive. So he got a car which one was a used Studabaker, and we could buy it for I think 85 or 80, 50, no, I remember it was $55 each month, the payment. It was a used car, and it was good in the beginning. And Louis was driving that, so very first time he said, "Let's go today, we go to a restaurant." And we went to a restaurant which one was serving very nice ham and potato salad. And we ate all the same thing. And Louis got sick. But I didn't get sick. So some of the food was either spoiled or something. And Louis got so very sick during the night, so I got so scared, I had to call up the YMCA director wife, whose name was Cleon, and I had to call her up and said, "What shall I do? Louis is so sick." And they sent right away an ambulance, and they took her to a hospital, and right away they cut off her pajama and throw it away, and they gave her, I think, something through the stomach, washing or I don't know what. But he was really very sick. So next day he stayed in the hospital, and the other following day he come back again, and he was then better. And then some of the officer from the YMCA said to us, to Louis and to me, although I didn't understand still good English or anything else, but they said, you should sue them. And I said, what do they mean, sue them? And they said, you should sue them because it happened on New Year's Eve. You should sue them because you couldn't stay with your family on New Year's Eve and you were in the hospital. And I said, Louis, what does it mean? And then he explained it in Hungarian to me and I said, Louis, we are so new in this country. I don't know those things. How would we do that? And he said, no, you are right. We don't do those things. We just let it go. And then later on, they said so many, you could have $1,000 if you would have sued. You could easily get $1,000. But no, we didn't sue. So that was the story of this one. I remember so vaguely, but it was so interesting that we should sue. Then the life went on again. Then we met a nice Hungarian lady also. Her name was also Spitzka Erzsike, and she already speak a little bit Hungarian. Already met, meanwhile she met Szalka in Helsinki, and she helped Szalka in Helsinki. And she said to Szalka in Helsinki, I don't like what you're doing here in this country. This is a job what you shouldn't do. And Helsinki said, why? I am not ashamed of it. I am not ashamed of it. Why I have to feed my family? Because my husband worked so hard. He never had to do that. He was a high officer in the Hungarian army, and he never had to do that. We had a beautiful villa and a Passorétiút, and we both never had to do that. And I clean houses now for $5 a day, and he is working in a iron shop. He has to lift heavy irons from one place to the other each day, and I'm not ashamed of it. I do that. And then Spitzka Erzsike said to him, but that's so undergrading because you're doing what black people do. And Erzsike said, I don't mind, I am not ashamed of it. Yes, I go to work, and at the same time the black lady comes to work the same place too. But I got my money, and for one day I got $5, and I do lots of, they ask me always to do lots of ironing there. I do that. I never did that in my life, but I do that, and I pleased to do that. So the life went on and on and on. So we got more and more Americanized, and we know that we have to do hard things to earn money. We had to do hard things. Meanwhile, I got a job also. I got in a so-called publishing company. I got a job which one calls type pasting. I had to do pasting types over a lighted window, and we were doing yearbooks. We were doing yearbooks for school yearbooks. And we had to put together all those types what the school sent, that we have to put together. All those football games, what was photographed, all the interesting things, and we got those written types, we had to precisely paint over on the lit glass, which one was lit underneath, and so we could do it. At that time, my eyes was perfect. No problem with my eyes. I could see that so good. And at that time, my salary was 79 cents an hour. And I was so happy for it. I was working and I could do it. And later on, the 79 cents was raised to 81 or 82 cents, and that made me also very happy. And this job went on for one or 2 years. And after the summer came, they gave us a time to stay away from the job, so I was happy I could stay home with Marianne. So I didn't have to go to the job, so we could already travel a little bit. So Louis got a little bit time off, so we traveled in the neighborhood. We went to Texarkana or something in the neighborhood. We traveled around in our car. And then when the school year started again, then I went back to the job. And meanwhile, Marianne was already in the first grade and second grade. And then gave me the idea, Marianne, would you like to learn piano? And then I don't know what was her answer. I think I took a yes answer. And then there was an old piano in the boys' camp. And I said, let's go and try that. And I asked in the school where she went, could she take piano lesson? Of course she can take piano lesson. I don't remember how was it and how much was it, but she took piano lesson, and we always went to in the room where it was cold. We sat it was in the winter time, because in Dallas it get cold in the winter time. And then she practiced on those pianos. And then after a while, I asked a sister, because it was a Catholic school, and I asked her, is it worthwhile? Is she doing good? Because I like to buy a piano. And she said, I think so. So I said, Marianne, I'm going to buy a piano. And we went out, because I got the help from the YMCA, one of the officers in the YMCA. His wife was very, very nice to me, and she said, what kind of piano you like? I said, I have no ideas to piano. And she said, there are this type and that type. A spinet piano is then nice for a schoolgirl. And I said, yes. And she said, if we go out to Oak Cliff, which one is a little other city from Dallas, the prices are less. So we went out to Oak Cliff, and I find a nice piano, and I loved it right away. And it cost $500. And at that time, the interest rate was so low, or even no interest or no. And they had to, with a little down payment, I could have the piano for $22 a month. And they deliver it in the little cottage. I already knew right away the place and put the piano in. And I was so happy to have the piano. So Marianne had to sit and work on the piano every day. If she liked it or not, I like to ask her today. Maybe she will tell me. And that was the end of the piano. And then life went on again and on again. And we went first for a big trip because Louis could buy a new car, a brand new car, which one was also a Studabaker, a brand new car, and we decided we could go up to New York and see the Statue of the Liberty. And then they told us all those nice roads which one to take toward New York. The Blue Ridge Parkway, and then that way and that way. And on the way, we can stop here and there. And meanwhile, to have that little dream really come true, the last year of my checks, which one came from the Taylor Publishing Company, I put it right away in the publishing company's reserve bank. So I saved it in their bank for a whole year until we are ready for the trip. And it was around $400 or $500 cash. And so when we went on the trip, we had $500 cash, and then we went on the trip very carefully. I said, Louis, we can only eat 3 times a day, and that will go. Once breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's it. And the motels were very cheap at that time. You could sleep for $5. And we arrived in New York. And we went over to New Jersey because we want to meet again Louis' cousin there. And also, Louis' brother was already in New York. We went up on I looked down from the Statue of the Liberty, and that was very interesting. And I have still a picture when Marianne and Eden and Louis were walking together on the down ground, and somebody told Louis, be sure not to park at the place because the parking fee is $15 if they catch you. And we were watching very careful not to park on the wrong place. And then we came back with a nice vacation time. We came back again to Dallas. But then comes the next year, and maybe Louis was already enrolled in the SMU, the Southern Methodist University, for a whole year. And he learned, I thought he will be engineer, but he can go up to San Francisco sometime and take up a job there. But I was really just a dreamer, because after he went through a whole semester in the university, that job was just little drawing and just something beginning, which one was not enough for a job. So after the next year, when we went up to San Francisco, and he met with his friend Dr. Torich Shandor, and he said, "Oh, I am so sorry, Louis, but those papers what you have, it's very, very nice, and I know you are very begabt, very talented, but you know, I already have one man here who is also talented, and he is also a hang-on just, and that is Hansi. And Hansi is already here, and I cannot afford a second man like that. I am very, very sorry, but you know what? Let's go to Monterey. I will travel with you down to Monterey, and there is the Hungarian language school. And let's find a beautiful job, because they are always need Hungarian language instructors. So after we stayed 1 or 2 days up in San Francisco area, we went up to Belvedere, where he was renting at that time a very nice house with his wife. And then we came down to beautiful Monterey. Oh, that Monterey just really was beautiful. And there were lots of Hungarians. Oh, we met the Hungarian people there, and that was very interesting. And he said, "Oh, we right away, the first man," he said right away, "we need a man like you. Come, join us. You can work with us." And Louis said right away, "Oh, that will be wonderful. But you have to wait until a new class is ordered to come in. New soldiers will come in to the school. You have to wait for that." So, and Louis said, "How long is that to wait?" He said, "Maybe a year or so. And then what shall I do until go back home? And if you are needed, I send you a letter and then you come. But then also be sure, it's not 100%. If you are here and the army let the soldier go, and the department shrinks, then who comes last goes first." And Louis said, "Okay, I take that." Yeah, okay. So while we were in Monterey, we went also down, meanwhile also went down and looked around. It was just so beautiful, and I said, "Oh my gosh, if we could go stay away from the heat in Dallas and stay in Monterey." They said, "Monterey is a beautiful spring weather the year round. Spring weather, no hot weather, spring weather." And then we still had to go back to Dallas. I almost gave up on it. Because we didn't get the letter. But suddenly, early spring, we got a letter. "There is opening. Would you like to come?" And I said, "Yes, we would like to come." And right away, we ordered everything to close. Louis quit the YMCA job, and we ordered the truck. We made arrangement how we can pay for it and how much it will be. And then I saw it. I will be about short of $400. And $400 I have to borrow. And then I borrowed from the Swiss lady who I worked with, the same in the Taylor Publishing Company. He said, could you lend us $400? I pay you back every month the same amount, and on the end I pay double. And then he talked it over with her husband, and he said, yes, I think Magdalene is trustworthy. I think so. That was the one thing. Then I had to go to Oak Cliff, and I asked about the piano, because there was also still a shortage. It was not paid out. And I asked them, please, sir, what shall I do? The piano is not mine yet. I owe that much on it, but can I just leave it with you and I lost all of it, what I already paid? Or can I take it with me and I pay you always the $22 each month by the money order? And then she said, Mrs. Hydas, that's what he called me, you can take the piano to the end of the world, I trust you. And that was so warm feeling for me. And then I said, yes, I take the piano and you will get the $22 each month. And so the piano came, I got the $400, the truck came, put all our belongings on it, and we left for Monterey.